G'day, punters. Welcome to another massive edition of All In. This week, we are heading to Randwick, Metrop, Epsom, Flight Stakes, and we'll even go down to the Valley and check out the Moya on a Friday night. Lewis Willoughby from Sky Racing and STC. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Gannon. Good, Dino. It's been a good weekend, albeit I didn't back a winner today at Flemington, which hurt really badly. But to have Metro racing on a Sunday at Flemington's always fun. And then obviously what a great Saturday it was with it's funny, right? It was one of the more freakish wins you've ever seen in a Guineas Prelude. And then Militarize and Joe Moreira go, well, hold my beer. I can do anything you can do, Stapati. I can do it better and more thrilling. So it was a great little period, that little, half an hour, 45-minute slot. Keen to get stuck in today again as the juggernaut rolls on.
Fantastic. It is now about 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, punters. So hopefully we're getting in nice and early this week. And Dean Watling from deanwatling.com. Good to have you here, mate. Good to see you finally not dressed for golf this week. A little bit more casual for the punters. We're getting a bit more relatable for the common folk.
Yeah, well, golf, you can't play golf at night, Gannon. You should know that. But one of the more enjoyable weeks on the punt. I think the racing was great. And even more so on Twitter throughout the week and on the weekend. We'll touch on that soon, Louis and Gano. But one of the more enjoyable weekends. I know I haven't laughed that much in a while. So keen to roll on another massive week. And hopefully we're out there on course on the weekend, Gano and Louis, with Celestial Furies.
Yeah, well, I wish I was, lads, but the missus has booked me a trip down to Canberra. So if you thought Wearing King's ride on the thing in the last today was bad, just imagine how I felt. Well, A, that got rolled. B, when I found out I had to go to Canberra on the long weekend and the weekend that our horse was running in town. Anyway, lads, them the breaks. We'll just continue to find a way. Dino, give us a horse to follow. Louis, give us a ride of the week kickoff for us, Dino.
Yeah, obviously the feature was the Golden Rose, but the Heritage Stakes probably as good, if not better. The horse I want to follow over, pretty obvious, Celestial Legend. I know it was unsuitable over that trip, but didn't flatten out, still a little bit wrong. I wish they would have got this horse up. I think it would have won the Golden Rose if they prepped it up, but it's the horse to follow if they roll on to another race. They might put it into the paddock though, Louis, so maybe look for that. But Celestial Legend for me this week, horse to follow, Louis.
Yep. Follow that with interest. The ride of the week was, well, I touched on it already. I have to say off the top, Craig Williams, ride of the week on anything he rode over the weekend again. But yeah, Moreira on Militarize. And he said it this morning on Thoroughbred Central that good horses get jockeys out of so much trouble. But in saying that, you've still got to weave and pick a passage from wherever you are. And he never panicked. He knew what horse he had under him, and he just waited and shifted and moved, and then got there and got it into clear running. And it was a great ride. I probably would give you the second and third horses as well. I mean, Dylan Gibbons on a horse that was not fancied by the market at all, really, could not have done anything more to win that race. So you've got to give kudos to who's run second and third there in NCAP and Butch Cassidy, the riders of them. But that's typical. You look up as Dylan Gibbons and you think you've done it, and of course you've been nailed by this bloke from Brazil who is just an absolute freak of a rider. So
low flying. Not only did he produce a couple of beauties on the weekend, he's turned up at Warwick Farm. Wouldn't know where Warwick Farm is. I couldn't imagine old Joe, and he's just gone bang bang. Thanks for coming. I'm not sure how many you rode, but he's low flying Joe. Yes, in the Sydney. Righto, let's go with your tweeter twatters, and commonly also known now as X.
Yeah, Racing X, sir. Racing.
Let's just give us your top five, Luke, because I know you got 420 of them. I've got a couple as well.
I don't know if I can top five. I just want to say off the top, I don't know how Elon Musk is not charging people to use this service yet. It is undefeated. You're right about this. Is only this week. Keep in mind, punters, this week. I'll start from the top. There was a PDS scandal and then a subsequent self-implosion. That was on about Monday, so we started off really strong. Then Dean Watling called for Ollie to be sacked off Alligator Blood and just popped it, including from people who aren't even in the country. Overseas, it just went so far and wide. Then he got accused of extreme bias towards a person up in the northern part of Sydney that we may or may not have a horse with, just copped it for that. Then we move further throughout the week, there was some terrible and confusing deduction explanations and analysis that was going on
From our man,
at some stage. No, Mando was good. It was the
Mando
comments in Mando's one that was just mind-boggling.
Gotcha.
EOS has just this is one of the craziest toys I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
Throughout the week,
sorry, Mando.
no, Mando was fine. Another 400 people joined another certain media organisation that operates in racing. That was a big one. Then one of our Victorian race callers comes on with one of the best post-race experts I've ever seen in my life about a horse he owns. But it was great. I love to see it. He's up and about, and it was good. But
is he home yet? Has he made it home yet, old Rick?
I don't know. And then to top it all off, this was my favourite moment of the piece. The piece de resistance, Dino, was alligator blood crossing the line, and I log on to this app that should be not free, and I see our mate here in the top left corner going bang, even though if I take you back to timestamp, I timestamped it on the previous YouTube. The moment you said it is not running, me mate body told me, got him on speed dial, not running. Oh, when it won, just like head in the hands, kind of. It topped the week off. It topped it off.
The best. That is the best. Oh, that is the greatest.
And they all cheered anyway because I think we rated it $2.40 and it was $3.30. And speaking of sprays, I copped a hiding for rating it $2.40. I reckon here's the best thing. This is why X is so great. 4 or 5 people going, mate, you have none. You've got no idea. How have you possibly rated it this short? I've gone back to like the comment because I thought I won't get in early because Dino told me this. But go back and like it once the horse logged. Gone back, I can't find them. They've deleted them.
God, it's Harold Holted on you.
Well, we haven't deleted last week's show, Gannon.
Yeah, I must say, full disclosure. Body's absolutely thrown me under the bus. But you know what? Apologies. So I'll make it up to you, punters. Bum steer there.
And you know what?
Anymore. There's no more there's no more Christmas cards for Adrian. Go on.
No, all of those ones I just mentioned there on Twitter. It's not a go. We love it. There needs to be more. So if you feel like you've been called out there and you're watching the video, I promise you, you're not. It's very good.
No, it's good banner. Don't worry. I put up something the other day about Ryan Moore.
I forgot about that one too. Yeah.
And Roz, I've never met Roz. I'm sure she's fantastic. She just gave me a spray. If you've got a problem with it, go to the authorities. I was like, mate, Roz, I've been in the queue since 9 o'clock this morning. They're not open. Anyway, love it. All right, lads, that's enough garbage from us. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick off with the Epsom Handicap. We're going to go through some of the great work that Trav Noonan does at racing.com and just reference some of his work here, guys. So we'll go at Randwick, 1,600 metres, Epsom Handicap, Pericles, Nashville Willer, 56 kilos, Golden Mile, Blake Shin, 55 kilos, Democracy Manifest, 51 kilos, with Tyler Schiller, The Inevitable. Now, I spoke to Bear Robinson. David Spires will be riding, if that's how you pronounce it. So he'll be taking the ride coming up from Tasmania there, 55 kilos, drops 4.5 kilos, a horse I'm very keen on. Let's just go to the markets now. We've touched on those horses there. Fangirl is still in the market, $6. Pericles, $6. Ozopenko, $8. Espiona, $11. And down all the way down to the Inevitable, $15. Louis, why don't you kick us off with the Epsom?
Yep. Well, you know what? Of the races we're going to cover on this is without a doubt, and we'll see that as we read the odds out for the others, but this is the betting race, the all-in market that you want to play in because it's got a lot of juice and a lot of meat on the bones. Even for your favourites, they're $6, right? There's a chance that Pericles could start shorter. Fangirl, we don't know if it's going. I'm going to tip Hope in Your Heart at $11 and The Inevitable at $15. They're my two plays. I mentioned back when Hope in Your Heart resumed that I thought there was a Group 1 win in store. I still think it could be the mile race for her own sex at Flemington during Cup Week. However, I think this is definitely a winnable race, a big field. Craig Williams gets booked with 54 kilos. That's all ticks to mine. And how good was The Inevitable first up as well? That was, it was funny. Like, I probably didn't expect the run, but I know that people did, and the market suggested that there'd be a big run there, and there was. And I think to still get $15 about it now is crazy. In terms of the history of this race, it's funny, the Epsom, top ranked won it last year coming through the Bill Ritchie. Ellsberg went through the Shannon Stakes. Private Eye went through the Bill Ritchie, Probabeel went through the Bill Ritchie, Coling went through the Bill Ritchie. So, like, that was this form line, right? But I went back and looked at the Bill Ritchie that Radina won, and gee, I don't know if I can take anything out of that race to be beating some of these. So whether that is the form reference this year, perhaps not. But yeah, for me, Hope in Your Heart and the Inevitable look great prices, Dino.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Inevitable, no one really missed that run, but I think the data was the biggest thing in the back of that. Visually, it looked outstanding, the run late, but then the data backed it up. I think it was best section of the entire sort of meeting, and always teased to do something. I'm trying to think of the race. I think it was the All-Star Mile that this horse might have ran really well in. I think you can tie that through Mr. Brightside, which then you tie through Alligator Blood. I think that forms the lead. And that probably takes me to what I'm tipping. Oh, I love the late piece of work by Osipenko last start in the Maccabi Diva Stakes down there in Melbourne. Obviously, we've seen Alligator Blood come out of that. He's not in the list of horses there on the article, but at the top of the article it does say Osipenko is likely to go there. So that's the only jink if it doesn't go there. But I think Chris Wally loves the 600-metre mile races at Randwick. And we need to remember that Epsom Day, the rail does normally go back in the true big high-pressure race. You want to be off the fence. You want to be getting to the outside. And this is the race you can back horses that sort of get back like the Inevitables with a turn of foot. So I think if we reference that Maccabi Diva form, Osipenko has to start near favourite, will plummet in weight. And I think that's the setup for this horse. I agree with you, Louis. I would be more than happy to have something on the Inevitable. I think lighter weight chances often go well. I think 55.5 is probably as heavy as you want, but Gannon, I'm happy to play the Inevitable and probably more keen on Osipenko.
Yeah, Osipenko 54 kilos, so that'll be a pretty significant drop in weight there, Dino. Obviously, just simply because we're not 100% sure the horse is going there, I think the Inevitable becomes probably the best all-in play we've had so far this spring carnival. I think that price is absolutely ludicrous. Talking about a horse that arguably could have won that All-Star Mile at Moonee Valley. If you go back and watch the replays, he was super duper. That's weight for age, 59 kilos. Nearly beating what's not potentially who is the best miler we have in this country, Mr. Brightside. Behind that was Alligator Blood and obviously Cascadian, who's a high quality galloper. 59 kilos last start was super impressive. I think if they sat one pair closer to the lead, they win that race and they probably win it well. It's got a little bit too far back, but has tactical speed. I think this is the race. Well, I know this is the race they're keen on winning on their way through to going to the King Charles, I think it is. So that's a huge price for a horse that gets in, drops 4.5 kilos. Wowee. Can't wait. I'm backing it. Very, very keen, lads. Let's go to the Metropolitan now. Just Fine, $2. We should just call this, rename it the Just Fine Metropolitan. $2. Benno, $11, please. Major Bill, $11. Althapa Scan, $13. Cleveland, $15. Dino, kick us off. Actually, you know what? Let's just make this short and sharp because we rambled on a little bit. Is there any horse here that can possibly beat Just Fine, thinking with 50 kilos?
I think the only horse that can beat it is Hu Ya Mao if it goes here. I think $4.80 a place. I'd probably prefer to take that than the $2 Just Fine. But agree with you, Just Fine. I think you referenced it, Gannon, is the next coming of Might and Power. So I think Hu Ya Mao is the only one that can beat it, Louis.
Yeah, that's a no bet race for sure. I mean, the fact that Benno, with the greatest and utmost respect to the great man Benno, the fact it's second favourite, feeding him, stop it. And Duace is in the market. It ran 20 seconds ago. What are we talking about here?
What's doing? Yeah, look, I think, lads, the only horse that out of that I'd be happy to have a place bet on would be Protagonist around the $4 mark. But look, because I think the horse is going super 2,400 metres, goes 16, 2024. So you're getting decent odds there. $4 Protagonist is great. But Just Fine, as I mentioned, like this course could be the second coming of Might and Power. What it did last start was very, very impressive. Shook them off, and those horses that were up on speed, they were nowhere to be seen. He has broken their hearts and still got on with it. So I think Just Fine will be getting the job done there. You don't have to be a genius to find it, but well, I don't think anyone's going to call us geniuses anyway, lads. Let's go to the Flight Stakes. This is a really competitive race. Tis Invincible, $2.60. Komachi, $5. I just don't know how they got up that mark. That Tropical Squall, $8. Unique Ambition, $8. French Endeavour, $11. Legacy's $11. I'll kick off here, lads. I'm really keen. Tis Invincible again. She was dynamic last start. I don't know how they beat her. I don't know how they possibly beat her.
Have you fallen off the Tropical Squall bandwagon already?
No, I'm very keen Tropical Squall. I just think that she goes to the Oaks and she probably wins the Oaks, mate. I'm in fairness, I don't think I have been on her bandwagon yet, but we will be on her bandwagon come the Tuesday, one of those Tuesdays in November, Thursdays in November, I should say, because I think she'll get
the cup
there. No, Thursday, mate.
Breaking news.
I'm going early. Yeah. No, it's spoke to me,
mate. It's the right stable body. It's the right stable body.
Here we go, lads. Here we go. Dino, I know your mate Nathan Doyle doesn't have any runners here, but maybe you've got a tip for us.
Oh, that's good from you, Gannon. I think they don't. Don't think they beat. Sorry, Tis Invincible. Thought they had their chance last start. To the eye, it looked like they went a little bit harder, and I thought Superior turn of foot probably come to the fore. But reviewing it, they still went slow. So I love that about it. I think she's tactically versatile, and at the same time, tempo-wise, a slow speed, fast speed. She can sprint off both up to 600 meters. This has been the target. She's a half or out of a half to Animo, so the trip's no issue. And the market's probably caught on. That's the query now. We've been getting $4 or $5 for the last 3 starts, and now the market's caught on. So if you've on it futures plays, I think you chime in probably with maybe a Tropical Squall who's going to be out in front dictating if it's going to be anything leaderish. But Louis, I think Tis Invincible's the best filly here, and she wins the Flight Stakes.
Yep, the longer this goes on and they all keep racing each other, it becomes harder to bet in the race, and it's clearly harder for them to turn the table because they're not really getting close. When I reviewed that T-Rose, the one I thought that, okay, maybe we're going to get a price about here, it was Unique Ambition, who had absolutely no luck, but they've factored that in as if it had gotten out, it was definitely going to run well. If it was clear, it still may not have run well. Who would know, right? But I thought that's going to be the edge. But it's a
horrendous overreaction, that price.
Yeah.
It should still be priced $15, Luke.
Yeah. Legacies, if it comes, it can't win. It had every favour there in Melbourne.
Legless. Wasn't it legless?
I think V8 as well on the weekend didn't really frank that form at all.
And you know what? You can kind of look at, I think it was Tudor La Vida who got through the line really well there. But, okay, you've still got to make up 4 lengths. Plus some, it's...
Yeah, and Summer Lovin's another horse that was okay through the line. French Endeavour was okay as well, but I just think she's a class above. Let's move on. I think she's a good thing, lads.
260 is probably a bet then, isn't it, just quickly?
Absolutely.
Sure,
so, yeah, she will be. We'll get to it.
Barrier beats her, that's it, surely.
Well, I think the upside there while we're on the barriers, and this is why she was going to be my best ball in play of the weekend, is it's a mile start.
Yeah.
So how long have you got, Dean, at that first turn?
Yeah, you got 400. I think the only issue there is if you draw gate 1, but Zach Lloyd on, he'll do something masterful anyway.
He'll be right. Only horrendous luck gets it beat as far as I can see at the moment anyway. All right, let's go to Friday night. Moya Stakes, Imperatrice $1.90. The rest of the field $5. Asphora, Rothby 8, Bella Nicotina 9, Uncommon James, Good Horse 9, Benedetta 11. Bonus Nutshot's 15, don't think so. Righto, Louis, your old stomping ground down the valley. What do you got for us?
Yeah, it's a great race. I love the race. And I think the only thing, I was going to say the only thing that could probably beat his Imperatrice is if there's a very small field, which I think Trav Noonan kind of wrote up that he only had maybe, I think it was 6 or 7 horses in what he thought might be running. So I go, okay, if they can beat Imperatrice, can something walk and beat her? But that's probably no, because she'll only be, 5 lengths max off whoever leads, and probably less. And off what you saw first up, she'll be running them down if she's able to repeat that. I mean, fastest, I'm pretty sure fastest 8.642 of the meeting, defeated.
Track record.
Yeah, well, track record, right. Who led there? Zoo Style went 12.94, 10.36, 8 to the 600 was semi-quick, but for a 1,000-meter high-level sprint, it's not a gut-busting tempo. Who then went 10.92 and 11.37. So I think they go quick, they go slow. If she just repeats anything like what she did last start, I don't think she can get done. If you're looking for one for a place chance, I really like Asphora, and I think Uncommon James has looked to have come back really well in the jump outs. Bella Nicotina needs it wet. Rothfire won't be able to turn the tables. On Benedetta then is not good enough.
Yeah, just quickly on that, Lou. So obviously we're talking Friday night at the Valley. I'm not a Valley expert by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes you can find leaderish and rails to be a significant advantage. Is there any horse here? I'm not going to ask the silly question saying, can Imperatriz be beaten? But is there any horse here that you think is likely to jump and find the rails, sort of regardless of, assuming it draws an okay barrier? Is Asaphora the one that does that in that lineup, or is Zoo Style?
Yeah, perhaps. I think Zoo Style. I wouldn't mind them trying to be a bit closer on Rothfire. But again, like Zoo Style did it last time and still got blown out of the water. It's the same track and trip. You'd assume Imperatriz. I mean, is there improvement? Who knows? But you'd be surprised if it regressed terribly.
Yeah.
Something kind of has to take the lead on the fence and fly. And like you got to be going 10:36 again for the 6 to the 4 and just be paddling and try and fall over the line. I honestly think it's the only way.
Yeah.
But it is $1.90 a bet. Well, it's the one we just spoke about. Tis Invincible at $2.60. That's a bit better than $1.90. But yeah, it's another tricky race.
Dana, what are your thoughts, mate?
All in, no.
Yeah, the rails in the True, the last start when Imperatriz run, I think that's the trick to the Valley. True plays very fair. I think anything out, you can see that leaderish track. The thing is, you make a really good point, Louis. I'd much prefer to take $2.80 about Tis Invincible at Randwick than $2 about a horse at the Valley over 1,000. I think just barriers mean so much in this race for Imperatriz as well, especially when there's a lot of speed. Like you said, you see so many horses that dead set win the race just because they're out in front and they fall over the line. So
I would Gannon won last year. I think Louis finally got it over the line. Is that right, Dana?
Yeah. So I threw it over myself.
Yeah, exactly. So
imagine if Imperatriz draws barrier 1 here, though. That could be all sorts of problem, like
it does have tactical speed, but I would imagine it wouldn't. It'd just get buried right back on the fence like you.
I've seen many a good horse in a Group 1 at the Valley over 1,000 or 12 get buried on that fence and never get out.
3 back to fence is just the definition of a coffin, isn't it?
Yeah, especially that track, because once you're out, the others have crossed the line. It's too late.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think we're shoulders arms to the Moya Stakes. Give us your best all in play. I'll kick off, lads. Flight Stakes, Tis Invincible, $2.60. That's my best all in play of the week. Dino?
Yeah, Epsom. Hopefully it does go around. I think it should. But Osipenko is my best all in play of the weekend around that $8 mark. Louis?
Well, after my 4-bet disgrace last week, I'm putting an asterisk on that because the horse I didn't think would run and won. So, everyone cool your jets about that. I'm going to go hoping your heart at $11.
Super stuff. And I did say the best of the weekend, but now the best of the spring is inevitable each way. I'm declaring it. We're going to have one best all-in play of the spring. I'm using up mine right now, and that is the inevitable at $15.
Do you reckon Princess Grace goes to that Epsom just quickly?
I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm looking at that article. I can't see it there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Not even mentioned.
Not mentioned at all. So I'd suggest not. But hey, stranger things have happened. Not even sure if she's non. But I'd imagine something down Flemington, Mares, Mile.
Yeah, there's the Stocks Stake, which I think Amelia's Jewel goes to, and the Stut Stakes. But I think that's I think the Stock Stakes is the one for the girls.
Okay.
Yeah. It is.
The rumour mill is about the Amelia's Jewel will be heading to the Cox Plate, but I've been wrong before. Right, lads, good fun. Anything going around on Tuesday that you want to have a bet on, or are we all done for the night?
Sure, I didn't think of that. I got a horse run tomorrow at Warrnambool for Reece Goodwin, Heroic Chief. It's drawn barrier 1. If the track dries out, I think it'll run well. It's coming back from a bleeding attack. I like them when they come back first up from a bleed. And he's at the first jump out was meh, and the second jump out was much better, and he thinks it's going all right. So give it strength tomorrow at the Bull.
Good stuff. Right, lads, good fun. Hopefully we get a few results for the punters, and we'll be back bigger, better, and next week hopefully a few winners to celebrate. Hopefully not as many failures as we suffered last week, lads.
Yeah.
That sounds good. And if you see any Twitter posts worth mentioning, please send them to one of us.
Or if you get any texts from co-trainers, just don't let me know.
I do feel like Louis did escape some harassment this week, given he had a 4-bet play and none of them got anywhere near it. So, there
you go. Sorry, time's up. Bye.
Give Louis a spray. Bye for now.
Bye.